see that.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about this, which I started a while ago. I was going to do it on video, but I got interested in rendering and not videoing. So what I did was I made a design which incorporates a centerpiece that is removable. This chain comes out of this, and then this whole element can be removed and another element can go in, so it's an interchangeable element. Also, when designing things like this, you can design outer elements that are different and inner elements that all are interchangeable. So where I'm at right now is I've rendered this using the gray, Payne's gray paint, and I have used the Carandosh gray number 7 pencil, which I started some of my shading into the piece before I went with my Neuro pencil. Now I'm going to do, I've done the Neuro pencil and some of the shading, but the last one I'm going to do, number 1, is going to be after I do these highlights. I've done most of the highlights in these areas that you see here, but I wanted to finish up and show you with this brush how I work it and do the highlights in this last portion here. So I take my paint, and I'm using pure white on this, and keep it not too watery. And I want to take and do it here. The light is coming from the upper left hand side, and I'm going to be very careful about how much paint I put on here because it can be very tricky. But I want to be able to do little fine lines in this. Couple of little dots of highlight like I did over here, then little reflections that help to give a little glow to the piece, a little shimmer, and it makes it look more realistic. Now I'm going to carry the highlight, long highlight right across this area here, long white highlight like this. Beauty about the brush is so nice and fine, and then it can really be controlled where you can really see the control that you have with it, you know. And if you make a mistake, I'll give you a little example right now. If I take my number 1 pencil, 3 rather, and right here I've gone over the pencil line, I can go back with the pencil and thin that little highlight out as much as I want just by going like this. And that makes that very, very dark effect here. And I will do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to bring it here and bring that highlight in here and try to keep it as fine as possible. Again, I'm going to have to go back with my Nero pencil and take that little edge right off of there so that it isn't too blurred or rough, and then carry this over here, then over here, then one, and those little highlights again, like that. I probably put a little bit of highlight right along here. Which gives you a nice effect. The final highlight will be a thicker white, more opaque, and you put the final big highlight right on top like this. So it really sparkles in those areas. I can go back and do the same thing. The more paint you put on, the one on top will stand out more than the one below. A little bit with here, like that. Now I'm going to take my number 1 pencil and go with number 1. And do I have a sharp one? Do I have a sharp one here? Here. I used those yesterday, so I dulled them down a little bit. But here I'm going to take this number 1 and just carry this. So you can clean up some of the lines, the white, if you're not happy with them, and just bring the texture or the shadow back in and pin those little lines down and carry the black. Oh, I forgot one side. There's a little area I didn't highlight right there. I got to go back and paint. And here, bring the blacker pencil here. So you can see it. I can bring that right down in here like this. Take a little of that white out. And the same thing here. this. Carry these shadows a little stronger so that the piece is a little more dramatic. Like that. I'm going to go back over the top here and bring that all out. This and this. Create a little stronger shadow there. This here. Like a little triangle at the end of these little rollovers that come over, these little scrolls that come over the top. Now I'm going to take the brush again and I'm going to go back and finish that last piece which I hadn't done. Didn't notice that. I'm going to go here. There's one other area I haven't touched either, and I'm going to do it. Here's the chain itself. I'm going to put some highlights on that as well to bring out the chain, because there's a cobra chain going through this. I'm going to put that stronger highlight now over here. Makes the sparkle a little stronger. Now here, I'm going to take this tray because I don't want to smudge this with my hand. I'm going to take the little dots that have to go on the cobra chain and go along here to bring out the sparkle in the little cobra chain. And put a little highlight right there. You're going to be observing as you render. Sometimes you leave things out, and then as you're doing one thing, you see another, and you just go back and just fill in where you've forgotten to do things. That's all. And it's very interesting how, because it's important to bring the shape of the piece out completely if it's possible, and if you're very careful, you can do that. Like along this edge right here, I'd like to bring this little edge right there out. And I think that's about it. That brings that part in. Now what I'm going to do, one last thing, is take my paper stomp and use my paper stomp to create shadow in the inside here that will lift and bring dimension to the piece, maybe a little on the outside here because the light's coming from the upper left, and cast a shadow like this, and it makes the thing look very real when you do this. I think that doing this type of thing really creates a nice effect. Like that. I want to just take a kneaded. If you have a little extra dirty spot, you can clean off with your kneaded eraser. Like that. Then I got to get back into the picture. And that's the final effect that I've had here. If you want, you can always go back and you want to make it a little more dramatic. You can add a little more black in these very, very tight little areas that bring out the other part. If there's any highlights or anything, they'll show up much more if you put this black inside of here like that. Makes it a little more dramatic. So that's it. So that's the end of this lesson.